Hey Trailblazers. So I saw this great question asking what to do when your company or organization has been acquired and you need to migrate the data, um, from your existing instance to their instance. In this case, it's all going to come down to data mapping. Data mapping is basically you're just going to go through and get a list. Assuming that we're just talking about standard objects, you're going to get a list of all the fields, both standard and custom, on those objects. So in case of lead, we get all the fields that are on lead, identify the standard ones, and you can easily map one-to-one standard fields, first name, last name, email, that kind of stuff. But the custom fields, that's where it gets interesting. What you need to do there is you need to start looking at should this field be brought over? Has this field been populated only like when it was first created 5 years ago and since then has been pretty much blank? Are there certain custom fields that you can kind of match to their own custom fields so you don't have to create new ones? And then the other ones that don't kind of fit in those groupings, do you need to or should you be creating new custom fields in their org so that you can kind of match and then bring that data over? The one thing that you definitely want to do is to create a unique ID, like an old org instance data migration ID that references the record ID from the old org, because you're going to want that, just for reference in your data cleaning later on. It's good to have that data point that you're tracking as you're moving it over. Other things that you want to take into consideration is any kind of automations and logic, things like data validation or validation rules, as well as automations that might have been triggered when things are populated. You want to take a look at that and see if it makes sense to bring those things over. And then once you get all the mapping and the automations figured out, then you need to do the fun part of cleaning up data. First, you're going to start in your own org, then you're going to start going to their org. Making sure that leads a lot of times is a big dumping ground. You want to get that cleaned up, but then also you want to look at the leads versus the contacts and see if you have duplicates there that need to be cleaned up, and then you need to do the same thing in their org. See if your contact is a lead in their org. How is that going to be managed, and make sure you kind of outline a policy for that between the two instances. Likewise, if you have a lead and they have a contact, or a lead, what if the data is different? And then you kind of start matching up between the two and then identify what's going to be the primary data point. So, and who's going to be the point of contact that validates and says, like, yes, that's the most incorrect email address from your instance, but the phone number from ours is the correct one. Hopefully this helps you kind of look at a way of kind of migrating and merging two different orgs. Best of luck.